their way today. And thank you for starting your morning with us here live from New York. We got Jalen, who's getting ready to fly to Toronto right after the show.
I'll be in Jurassic Park.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Sounds outstanding. Give our regards to Drake. That should be a lot of fun. DJ's ready to go. We got football today with Dan and Dom, but we begin with this. We are now a little more than 24 hours removed from Baxter Holmes' story posting on ESPN.com that went into all that detail, chronicling the Lakers' culture of fear, distrust, and anxiety under Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka. Magic responded to a good deal of that last night on SportsCenter's NBA Finals special. Here's what he said.
I'm a guy that will tell you the truth. Now, a lot of Laker employees didn't like that I held them accountable. That's what my job was. Did I have to fire some people? Yes, because we had to bring about change and get better. The one thing I didn't get to do is hire everybody that I wanted, right? Rob and I got put together. I inherited Luke Walton. So I didn't get to hire my own people. You can judge me by trades I made. You can judge me by I didn't have enough shooters. Did I do some things wrong? Of course. And I admitted those things. Nobody has ever called me and said Magic mistreated an employee, ever. And that would never happen. It's okay if you want to try to lie on Magic, go ahead. But I know the truth. Jeannie knows the truth, because if I had disrespected somebody, she would have called me in her office. And that never happened. HR would have called me. It never happened. 2 years, never.
That was part of what I thought was a really interesting defense, if you will, of himself by one of the great American sports legends of all time. Jalen, first crack, what was your reaction?
My reaction is Magic's on a media tour, and he's doing a really good job of getting his word out there. Mm-hmm. If you're a Magic supporter, if you are somebody that opposes Magic, you would say that he's manipulating the media. And anytime you're in a position of power, you're going to always have people that are upset at you. It doesn't matter what profession it is. When you're considered the boss, people that work under you that you're trying to hold accountable are going to feel a certain type of way when you discipline them. I saw in the Baxter article that, for example, the car service for a recruit was not booked properly. Mm-hmm. And therefore, the person got disciplined. Yep. That happens. Young people, Magic Johnson, whoever your boss is, they're going to discipline you when you don't do your job. However, Magic also said when he first took over the job, I'm 150% committed to the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm going to put my businesses to the side. When he came on First Take, he said, they knew that I was going to focus on my businesses and be at work part-time. So this is a he said moment. Magic is an icon. He's going to be able to manipulate what we say for public consumption.
What was interesting to me is that he said if he had to do it all over again, he would hire his own people. First of all, if you're the president of basketball operations, okay, you answer to one person, and that's Jeannie Buss. Why wasn't he able to get his own people in there where he felt that he could trust the atmosphere and what was going on in there? And that, for me, was the most interesting part of what he said.
I agree completely. Go ahead, Jalen.
But here's the thing, DJ. He wasn't blindsided by this. Jeannie was the owner. That was not going to change. Rob was already in place. That was not going to change. Luke was already the coach. That didn't change throughout the season. I said when LeBron first got there on this show the entire year that this would be the only year Luke Walton coached LeBron James.
Right.
That was not a surprise. Now, the hierarchy in the front office, once Jeannie hires Rob before you, you're not going to ever be able to circumvent his power. Yeah. That's just how Game of Thrones work. And I don't even watch the show.
Me neither.
Okay?
Me neither.
That's how this works.
Me neither.
I don't either. But here's what I'll say about all of this, is that we have this image of Magic Johnson as though he is just this smiling, benevolent figure. You don't get to be Magic Johnson by being a smiling, benevolent figure all the time. Right. Magic Johnson is a tough guy. You don't win 5 NBA championships and start businesses that are worth something in the neighborhood of $1 billion of your own money if you're just smiling and happy all the time. You got to take care of business.
Yeah.
And so the notion that anyone thought they were going to come at Magic Magic using his words, and Magic wasn't going to come back, is ridiculous. Did anyone ever watch him play basketball? I mean, this is a tough guy, and to expect him to be otherwise, to think that that he has been misleading the public with that smiling face by actually being a tough person, I think is a disingenuous expectation to begin.
The Los Angeles Lakers franchise is the wrong one for us to feel sorry for. Okay, because here's what's going to happen. If they win a championship with LeBron James, Magic going to get a ring. If they don't get a championship with LeBron James, everybody's going to blame Rob. That's all this is shaping out to be. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Listen, there is enough dysfunction in that organization to go around for every single person who's been involved. I'm not absolving Magic of any blame. That would be crazy. But I think so much of the narrative that has been sort of sent in his direction strikes me as completely naive. Now let's move on to the finals, because despite already having been ruled out for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, which is tomorrow night, Kevin Durant did travel with the Warriors on the team plane to Toronto yesterday. Durant traveling raises the possibility that it can be cleared in time for Game 2 on Sunday. What does that mean? Well, the Warriors are in the midst right now of a 9-day layoff that is tied for the third most before the finals in NBA history. And on that same special last night, Magic told the crew why the Warriors' long layoff could be the decisive factor in Game 1.
I'm worried about Golden State on that first game because I'm going to actually pick Toronto to win that first game.
Rust, right, Irvin?
9 days, come on. One thing that you love as a basketball player is this, staying in a routine and rhythm. Look, if I was Golden State, I would want no time off. They were playing so well. Steph Curry was playing better than I've ever seen him play before.
And for what it's worth, BPI, our basketball power index, agrees, giving the Raptors a 61% chance to win Game 1 at home. The Warriors are 4-0 in finals Game 1s under Steve Kerr. 2 of those games did go to overtime. Damon Jones, you were involved in some of them.
Almost all of them. All 4 of them, except this one.
We were talking this morning about the 9 days, and I know you agree or disagree with Magic.
I agree with Magic because for the same thing that he said, rhythm. And when you're going through a practice, you cannot simulate NBA finals intensity and practice in your up and downs or whatever. So from that standpoint, they're going to have a little rust.
Who specifically is impacted the most by a long layoff?
Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, both guys that are good shooters, and they've been off. They haven't had game action for 9 days, so it's going to take them a quarter, maybe 2 quarters to get their rhythm back.
We're not doing that. We're not giving the Warriors excuses.
I'm not giving them excuses, Jalen. I'm not giving them excuses. I just said.
You not picking the Raptors to win it. And neither is Magic. So now y'all just want to give away Game 1 all of a sudden?
I didn't give it.
You see what's happening here, right?
I didn't say give away Game 1.
We're going to feel sorry for the Warriors because they got 9 days off?
No, I'm not.
You know what happens during these 9 days that you're not saying, Coach. What about the wrinkles in the out-of-bounds plays, sideline and baseline? What about different sets you can put in without KD since you know he's been out, that you haven't been able to institute on the fly, that they have not seen? What about the rest for the shooters to rest their legs because they've been playing so much basketball?
You're spot on. All I'm saying is this. It happened, and we saw it in the Milwaukee-Toronto series. Milwaukee had a long layoff, and it took them 2 quarters in that first game. After halftime, they came out and they put their stamp on the game.
It's worth reminding everyone that Toronto has also had a significant layoff here, and I think almost a better one. To me, would you rather have played Saturday, still have quite a few days to get your legs back, or not have played since last Monday? I forget what the Warriors even look like at this point.
Let's not act like anybody that has a job doesn't want rest. Okay? That's always a great remedy. Let's not act like if they lose Game 1, it was because they were rusty. I picked the Raptors to win this series because of the fact that the Golden State Warriors don't have KD and they don't have home court advantage. And I think that's going to play itself out in game 1 because I believe the Raptors are not only going to win game 1, but I feel like they have a chance to win game 2 as well.
If they do, then the KD factor will become very interesting in this series. If KD is medically cleared and he does not play in the first 2 games and the Raptors are up 2-0 going back to Oakland, that will be a very interesting thing to watch.
I just saw him limping to the plane. DJ, he ain't ready to play in game 2.
No,
so let me just tell you this. Imagine if the Raptors win game 1 and they try to bring KD back for game 2 and they still lose.
The drama is going to be phenomenal. Again, Jalen will be there. We'll be covering it all morning long. Adam Silver is on the way. We have lots of basketball still to come, but right now let's get up and go and show you a few other things. Rough end to a long rainy night in Boston. Red Sox bullpen coughed up 5 in the 9th in a 7-5 loss to Cleveland. Red Sox had won 137 straight games when entering the 9th inning with a 3-run lead or more. They wasted 6 scoreless from David Price. They also failed to gain ground on the first-place Yankees, who had lost to the Padres. Meanwhile, as we get up and go, former Marlins cast-off Derek Dietrich had a night. He continued his resurgence in Cincinnati. 3 home runs for the Reds in their 11-6 win over the Pirates. Dietrich leads the majors with 12 home runs in May. For the season, he has 17 home runs and just 118 at-bats. According to Elias, that makes him the 6th fastest to 17 home runs in the expansion era. To football as we get up and go, where free agent defensive tackle Gerald McCoy will extend his visit with the Ravens through a second day this morning. Dominique Foxworth, is he a good fit in Baltimore?
Oh, he's a great fit. They lost some pressure up the middle, losing Mosley, to be able to replace him with, or not replace Mosley, but be able to replace some strength in the middle of that defense with McCoy would be fantastic.
Yeah, and they were saying they took him to dinner last night. They're hoping he doesn't leave town without a contract. So the Ravens want him badly. Meanwhile, as we get up and go, more NFL. Antonio Brown participating in Raiders OTAs yesterday, where he was quick to praise his quarterback Derek Carr and the relationship the two have begun to build. Take a listen to what Brown had to say about his new QB.
Kind of. There goes DC right there. It definitely helped, I think, correlating with him early on. But as the offseason grow, I continue to get better. I think he learned that firsthand when working out earlier. He like, hey man, you got a little faster. What he did. So it's exciting, man. I'm grateful to be here. I'm honored to be here, and I'm gonna continue to put my will on display and challenge my teammates. You always want to have that respect for a guy to know where he's coming from, know what he stands for, and know what's important to him. So you guys can be on the same page and do what you desire to do, and we desire to win.
Dan Orlovsky, what is your level of confidence right now on the relationship Carr and Brown?
It's not super high. I think that AB is kind of shown. Derek Carr better be very cautious because AB has shown kind of what his view on himself is and how important he is in comparison to his relationship with quarterback or even team success. So Derek Carr, be a little cautious.
Yeah, but they have this cute little noise they make back and forth to each other. That seems good. Anyway, the Raiders also signed offensive lineman Richie Incognito to a 1-year deal. Incognito has a well-documented checkered history off the field. He hasn't played since announcing his retirement in 2017. Here's Raiders general manager Mike Mayock on that signing.
Whenever he's been focused on activities solely on the field, he's been fine. And we've done a 1-year prove-it deal with him, and prove it means both on and off the field. I feel comfortable that he's going to compete on the field, and I feel comfortable that, A, he wants to compete off the field, and we're going to provide the infrastructure for him. We feel that he's incented properly to stay straight. You can't have all Boy Scouts.
Can't have all Boy Scouts is a fascinating sentence. And let's pick up the conversation there with our front office insider, Mike Tannenbaum. And Mike, they've put together an interesting offseason. Some of the moves they've made. Antonio Brown, all the stuff that comes with him. Vontaze Burfict, all the stuff that comes with him. And now Incognito. Give me a sense from a front office perspective of how you weigh risk and reward when it comes to players like that.
Sure. You have to consider a few factors. The greater the production, the greater the tolerance. Also, you want to look if the player has had a lot of problems. Is it habitual, or is it something that just was, a one-time deal? And then, are they trying to get help? Are they trying to fix the mistakes they've made in the past? And Greedy, earlier in my career back in 2016, we dealt with it in real time in the 2016 draft when Laramie Tunsil was seen smoking weed, and the video was going on during the draft, and we had him as the first player on our board And there we were at 13, and we thought this was an unbelievable opportunity for us. So Steve Ross, our owner, Adam Gase, our head coach, Chris Greer, our general manager, were there, and we felt like, wow, this was the best player on the board. We did a lot of work on him. We thought he was a young man that had made a mistake, and we thought it was a great opportunity for us. So we took him at 13. He turned out to be a 44-game star so far in his career. He's playing left tackle at a really high level. It was a good decision for us.
All right, yeah, that was a very interesting split screen image we had just there a moment ago. By the way, I'd love to. Can someone get me that for my Instagram? There's just something about that I found hysterical. But anyway, how about specifically with the signing of Richie Incognito? There's just so much history there, and he hasn't played in a long time. What do you think he can add for the Raiders on that offensive line?
Yeah, agree. I think it was a really good signing. It's a great opportunity for him to resurrect his career. He's a four-time Pro Bowler. They have a huge need at guard. He can make a lot of players better. He can make Derek Carr better. He can make Josh Jacobs, their first-round pick, better. Antonio Brown better. So I agree with what Mike Mayock said. It's a prove-it contract, and typically what we would say, hey, it's a one-day contract. If today goes well, you're getting an opportunity to come back tomorrow. And the other thing that this does is it sends a great message to the locker room that we're a locker room of forgiveness, but we have high standards. And if he can resurrect himself not only on the field but off the field, it could be a great story and a great signing for the Raiders.
An interesting way to look at it. Mike, thanks very much. Well done. Good to see you as always. Let me take it here to the desk. And Dominique, I'll start with you because you had a skeptical look on your face through the entirety of this presentation. What are you thinking?
No, I mean, I appreciate that it's a low-risk, high-reward shot they're taking. And they're in a position where it doesn't seem like they're looking to win right now. So it's smart for them to take some of these shots to see if these guys can pan out.
I have to stop you. I'm sorry, I have to stop you. You're not trying to win right now? You trade for Antonio Brown, who was on the other side of 30. That is a winning right now move, is it not?
It doesn't seem like that's what they're trying to do. I think Antonio Brown is a guy that they think could help them transition and help build some excitement for this team. And I think this is also, bringing in Antonio Brown is to help Derek Carr prove himself. It's about that. It's not about winning right now. It seems clear to me that they're planning for unveiling their championship run when they go to Vegas. It doesn't seem that bringing guys in like Richie Incognito and Vontaze Burfict seems like Vontaze Burfict, aside from him being somewhat of a headache, wasn't even that good of a football player last year. So they have all these prove-it guys to see if they can maintain this team, if they can stay on this team going forward. I'm not sure they can.
I'm curious, when you're a player in a locker room and your team acquires these guys who have all these outlandish reputations, I mean, Incognito's got the one thing, or all the stuff with him, and Burfict has all the stuff with him, and Brown has all the stuff with him. Like, what do the players in the locker room think while that's happening?
Players will all handle it a little bit different. I mean, there's going to be some guys that kind of welcome them with open arms and, hey, you get a clean slate, and I'm just going to judge you off my interaction with you. But then there's going to be some guys that are certainly cautious, and I'm not necessarily going to completely trust or buy into or believe that these guys are different people than what their reputation has kind of exposed them to be. They're all three are interesting signings to me because Mike Mayock talks about the fact that he drafted Clelin Ferrell number 4 out of Clemson because he wanted him to be a culture guy, a glue guy. They thought that it was going to be a big deal. But then they signed Burfict, AB, and Richie Incognito, and it's like, you know that old quote, like, there's two wolves inside of you, and which one is going to win? There's greed, and there's envy, and there's power, there's, like, truth and honesty. Like,
a lot more than two wolves.
Which one is going to win? It's the one you feed. And so what culture?
That's a pack of wolves.
Yeah, like, what culture are the Raiders really trying to feed? The glue one with Clelin Ferrell?
So to be fair to those guys, they are well known for some of their issues, but in a 53-man locker room, every team has a couple guys like that. Maybe they haven't gotten caught. Maybe it hasn't been high profile. But I know plenty of Vontaze Burfict style linebackers and plenty of offensive linemen who are similar to Richie Incognito. Every football locker room has wild dudes in it. And Mike Mayock said it. You can't have a team full of Boy Scouts.
Maybe not Boy Scouts, but you certainly don't need a team full of vigilantes either. Like, you're not going to
We're talking about the Raiders here.
You better win, though.
The Raiders. You see the helmet? You see the helmet?
Have they won lately?
They've had plenty of winning teams that were full of vigilantes.
Long time ago.
You ever been to that stadium? The whole stadium is full of vigilantes.
It's a difference. And I'll tell you this. They better have some veteran leader player-wise police that team. Because
Antonio.
Yeah. Okay.
Antonio going to do that, and Drew's going to do that.
Antonio, baby.
I think if nothing else, it becomes a very interesting mix. All right, I have to break this up only because my new favorite moment of the baseball season happened last night. White Sox Employee of the Month got to throw out the first pitch, and just watch this. This is get the box out of the way.
What?
You got to get more on
curve.
Is that Laura Rutledge?
No, it's not.
No.
Laura, you're better than that.
Can we show it again? Do we have the ability to show? I hate to without the box. Get the boxes off. Get the boxes off because you can't
She
see.
hit the camera? Oh my gosh.
She just hits the dude with the camera. But here's the beauty. The dude with the camera got the shot.
Oh.
Watch this. Do we have it? We have the dude with the camera. I mean, all credit in the world to the guy with the camera. He got the shot. This is life coming at you pretty heavy. This is the actual photographer
That's awesome.
who took this picture. This is just seconds before he was demolished with this changeup or whatever it was that the pitch actually was.
Probably a team in the NFL that might think she's a first-round draft pick because she fits the measurable.
Yeah, there are a couple of teams that could use her in the bullpen, so we'll see one way or the other. My new favorite moment of the baseball season so far. All right, getting forward here on Get Up. Why one championship coach says Kawhi Leonard is the closest thing we've seen to Michael Jordan. Wait for this comparison. That's on the way, and then stick around because top of the next hour, 40 minutes from now, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Adam Silver joins us live on our set talking about everything. Get Up on ESPN.